They handcuffed Jasmine Crockett in public, right there in front of the federal courthouse steps, with dozens of cameras flashing and reporters gasping. Her navy blue suit, sleek and confident just moments before, now wrinkled under the grip of two towering officers as they pulled her forward. The silence of the crowd was deafening until someone whispered, "Isn't she the woman fighting for communities' rights?" Before we continue, if you are watching our video for the first time, please bless and support us by hitting that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell to get notified for more. Share to friends. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story goes. To our loyal family and our 200-plus subscribers, thank you. Your support fuels every story we bring to life. You've stood with us through every twist, and this one is different. Let's rewind. 6 minutes earlier, Jasmine had been standing at the press podium, calm, poised, fire in her voice. "No one is above the law," she declared, papers in her hand detailing decades of systemic abuse within the state's correctional facilities. Her exposé, months in the making, linked key law enforcement officials to covert operations, money laundering, and illegal detentions of marginalized citizens. But someone powerful was listening, and they didn't like what they heard. Unmarked vehicles appeared. Two plainclothes officers emerged, weaving through the crowd. Jasmine didn't flinch. "Ms. Crockett, you're under arrest for obstruction of justice," one of them said as he produced handcuffs. Gasps spread like wildfire. She didn't resist. Instead, she looked directly into the cameras and said, "This is what truth looks like under arrest. Record everything." They marched her down the stairs like a trophy. But 7 minutes later, everything began to unravel. Inside the precinct, Jasmine sat handcuffed to a bench, still composed. A young officer named Terry glanced her way, his hands trembling. He recognized her. Everyone did. He'd watched her on TV, read her columns, seen her lead peaceful protests. She was the reason his sister had finally spoken out against workplace harassment. "You're making a mistake," he told his superior quietly. "Orders from upstairs," the older officer replied. "We're to hold her until they clean the files." But Jasmine had planned for this. She wasn't just a lawyer. She was a strategist. 5 minutes into her detainment, her assistant Maya, a fiery young woman with an IT background and nerves of steel, initiated the fail-safe Jasmine had trained her to execute if things went wrong. Maya entered the decoy cafe, popped open a laptop, and activated System Reclaim. Within seconds, Jasmine's document cache was mirrored onto news channels and whistleblower sites worldwide. Not just her files, video testimonials, financial records, signed affidavits, even audio clips from boardroom meetings where officials laughed about burying inconvenient truth. The first call came from New York Times, then CNN. Within 3 minutes, trending hashtags started flooding social media. Hashtag Free Crockett, hashtag Truth Arrested, hashtag Justice Hijacked. The mayor's office issued a temporary hold on commentary, but the damage had already been done. Inside the precinct, phones wouldn't stop ringing. Protesters gathered outside the building chanting, "We stand with Jasmine." Reporters swarmed the front, shouting questions. Back in her holding room, Jasmine was uncuffed. Silently, reluctantly, the arresting officer returned, sweat beading on his brow. "Ms. Crockett, you're free to go." She stood slowly, adjusted her jacket, and looked him dead in the eye. "No, I'm not going anywhere until you read me the charge." He couldn't. There wasn't one anymore. The footage of her arrest was already viral. People were angry, not just in the city, but across the globe. Her story lit a fire in those who'd seen too many leaders silenced for speaking up. Lawyers began organizing. Students skipped classes to protest. A retired judge publicly questioned the chain of command involved. But Jasmine had more than public support. Maya had done more than expose the files. She'd activated Jasmine's contacts in cybersecurity. Anonymous leaks began surfacing. Videos of secret meetings. Emails between officers planning to sabotage investigations. Names. Dates. Locations. A task force from Washington landed that evening. By morning, 3 top police officials were suspended. One turned himself in. The chief of police issued a public apology, stammering through prepared statements, but it was too late. Jasmine had turned the system against itself. With truth, news networks wanted exclusive interviews. Universities offered her honorary degrees. Human rights organizations called her a national beacon of justice. But Jasmine, she didn't smile for the cameras. She went home. She hugged her mother, held her sister's hand, sat in silence for an hour. Then she went back to work, not to celebrate, but to rebuild. She proposed new legislature within a week. The Crockett Protocol, as it came to be known, required immediate public access to all arrest records of nonviolent activists, protections for whistleblowers, and an independent committee to review police actions within 24 hours of detainment. Communities rallied. City councils passed their proposals. Some fought back, but most knew the tide had shifted. She visited Terry, the young officer, and thanked him for his courage. "It was you," he replied. "You gave us a reason to believe again." The system didn't fall in 7 minutes, but it cracked. And from that crack, truth poured out like sunlight. The moral? Silencing one voice doesn't stop a movement. It strengthens it. The chains they placed on Jasmine only bound their own lies. To every citizen watching the story, remember, fear is loud, but truth is louder. Never let intimidation rob your courage. Never let injustice feel normal. This story was brought to you by Elliot Stories. See you on the next one. Stay tuned. Elliot Stories cares.